Aldi, the store where $50 feels like a fortune. Walk in with a tight budget, walk out with bags of groceries. It's known for its no-frills approach, wallet-friendly prices, and lightning-fast checkout lanes. For countless shoppers, it's not just convenient, it's a game changer. But beneath those savings lies a layered story most never hear. There's a fascinating and sometimes troubling history behind the German grocery giant. We're talking corporate clashes, headline-making scandals, and practices that even seasoned industry folks raise questions about. So before tossing that budget wine or off-brand snack into your cart, here's what you really need to know about Aldi. Welcome to How to Know. Let's unpack the full story. Let's rewind to where it all began. The Aldi brand was born in post-war Germany in 1946 when brothers Karl and Theo Albrecht took over their mother's small grocery shop in Essen. They launched Aldi on one guiding principle: slash operating costs and pass the savings directly to the customer. But success didn't keep the siblings united. By 1960, a surprisingly fierce disagreement over whether or not to sell cigarettes tore them apart. That fallout split the company in two: Aldi Nord, overseen by Theo, and Aldi Süd, managed by Karl. Even today, these two branches operate as separate entities under the same Aldi banner around the globe. In the US, most Aldi stores are under Aldi Süd's control. But Aldi Nord plays a role too. It owns Trader Joe's, Aldi's quirky and beloved American cousin. Aldi isn't just about low prices. It's built on radical efficiency. From the number of employees in the store to the way products are stocked, every detail is fine-tuned to reduce overhead. There's a minimal staff, compact floor plans, and limited product lines, nearly all of which are private label. And yes, you're expected to bag your own groceries. One of Aldi's trademark money-saving features is the quarter cart system. You pop in a quarter to use a cart and get it back once you return it. This clever move means Aldi doesn't need to pay staff to chase carts around the parking lot. Packaging plays a big role too. Many items come in shelf-ready boxes, so employees don't need to spend time stocking shelves one item at a time. It's all about cutting labor time and operating costs without cutting too many corners, at least in theory. Let's give credit where it's due. Aldi's model is incredibly effective at keeping your grocery bill down. Their prices routinely undercut traditional supermarkets by 30 to 50%. In an era of rising costs and tight budgets, that's not just nice, it's essential. Their heavy focus on in-house brands gives them control over nearly every step of the process, from production and packaging to distribution. This control allows them to negotiate ultra-low rates with manufacturers and keep their shelves stocked with bargain price essentials. No massive retailer walks away from growth unchallenged, and Aldi isn't an exception. While the chain earns praise for paying above minimum wage in several countries, its labor practices have still stirred up considerable backlash. Let's start in Germany, where the company was born. Over the years, Aldi has repeatedly been scrutinized for maintaining high-pressure workplaces. Reports from whistleblowers and former employees describe a culture obsessed with speed and productivity, sometimes to the point of burnout. Workers have spoken out about impossible performance targets and a lack of support, painting a picture that doesn't align with the company's cheerful, cost-saving image. In the UK, the criticism escalates. Several exposés have revealed grueling schedules, with managers pulling 60-hour weeks, juggling multiple roles, and struggling with unrealistic demands. A particularly damning 2013 investigation from Channel 4 showed Aldi stores under intense surveillance, with workers describing it as a sweatshop in disguise. Even in the United States, where Aldi often boasts about offering better than average pay, employees tell a familiar story. With fewer staff per store, each team member juggles roles, from stocking to cashiering to janitorial duties. While this streamlined model boosts efficiency and keeps prices low, it can leave workers exhausted and unsupported. Like any large-scale grocer, Aldi has seen its fair share of recalls, but a few incidents in its history stand out, not just for the scale, but for the shock factor. Take 2014, for instance. German authorities made a startling discovery: over 140 kilograms of cocaine concealed inside banana crates destined for Aldi locations. That might sound like an isolated event, but it wasn't. Just a year later, Berlin police confiscated another shipment of cocaine-filled bananas, this time weighing nearly 400 kilos and valued over $16 million. In 2019, yet another bust took place. Nearly half a ton of cocaine was found hidden inside banana shipments sent to 6 Aldi locations in Rostock. That's nearly $28 million in street value. Although Aldi cooperated with authorities and removed the tainted shipments immediately, the sheer frequency of these incidents raised red flags. How were traffickers using Aldi's supply chain so consistently? And how secure is that chain really? Beyond the drug smuggling headlines, there have also been notable food-related safety recalls. In 2015, Aldi pulled batches of frozen berries in Australia after they were linked to a hepatitis A outbreak. Then in 2021, the chain recalled several Simply Nature organic baby food pouches due to potential heavy metal contamination, part of a broader alarm across the baby food industry. A year later, in 2022, Aldi was again in the spotlight when select seafood items were pulled for failing to disclose allergens, putting allergy-sensitive consumers at serious risk. Aldi's crisis response is usually fast, but the underlying concern lingers. Is the relentless push to reduce costs compromising product oversight? Perhaps the most unforgettable Aldi controversy came in 2013 during the European horsemeat scandal. It was discovered that some frozen beef meals sold in Aldi's UK and Irish stores weren't just mislabeled. They were made up entirely of horsemeat. The culprit? Comagil, a supplier that had been apparently cutting corners by substituting horsemeat for beef. Aldi, along with several other retailers, was caught off guard. Though they moved quickly to yank the products from shelves and sever ties with Comagil, the damage was done. This scandal didn't just hurt consumer trust. It exposed a deeper issue. How could such a massive breach go undetected through an entire supply chain? It casts serious doubt on whether Aldi and companies like it had sufficient checks in place to truly know what's going into their products. Aldi has also taken heat for its approach to animal welfare. In 2020, animal rights groups put Aldi on the blast for continuing to sell eggs sourced from caged hens in several countries, despite rising public demand for cruelty-free, cage-free options. But eggs weren't just the beginning. Investigations into some of Aldi's meat suppliers revealed disturbing conditions, unsanitary pens, overcrowding, and outright abuse. Shocking footage made rounds online, sparking public outrage and calls for boycotts. Aldi has responded with promises to improve sourcing standards and work towards more humane practices. They've pledged to increase transparency and enforce tougher supplier audits. However, critics argue that change has been slow and mostly reactive, triggered only after media exposure or activist pressure. As much as Aldi's corporate culture raises eyebrows, the family that built it has had their share of drama too. Back in 1971, Theo Albrecht, one of Aldi's founding brothers, was kidnapped in Germany. He spent 17 days in captivity before being released after a ransom of approximately $3 million was paid. The incident deeply shook the Albrecht family and led to their transformation into near recluses. From that point forward, they avoided the public eye entirely. No interviews, no appearances, no statements. That level of secrecy has only added to the company's mystique and skepticism. It also made Aldi one of the most enigmatic powerhouses in global retail. Even after Theo's death in 2010, private disputes among the family members occasionally spilled into German tabloids. Inheritance battles, company control arguments, and legal back and forths have surfaced, though Aldi tends to keep these stories buried quickly. Like many big-name retailers, Aldi has found itself in hot water over environmental issues, specifically the overuse of plastic packaging. Despite committing to reduce plastic waste and improve sustainability, numerous audits have shown that Aldi still leans heavily on single-use plastics. To be fair, Aldi has taken some proactive steps. They charge for plastic bags, promote reusable shopping options, and have joined multiple pledges to reduce packaging waste globally. But environmental groups argue that these efforts don't go far enough, especially considering Aldi's massive scale and influence. One of the most pressing concerns? Greenwashing. Aldi has been accused of using environmental marketing that overstates the impact of their sustainability programs. Buzzwords like eco-friendly and responsibly sourced often appear on packaging, but watchdog groups have challenged the validity of those claims, questioning the third-party certifications they rely on. In short, the environmental image Aldi projects may not always match what's happening behind the scenes. Another piece of Aldi's business model rarely discussed is its sheer dominance over suppliers. Because the majority of Aldi's offerings are private label, they work with a relatively small number of manufacturers. And since Aldi buys in high volume but offers a limited product range, suppliers are often put in difficult positions. The leverage here is undeniable. Aldi can dictate pricing terms, demand cost cuts, and require changes to packaging or ingredients, all while maintaining strict exclusivity. For small or mid-sized producers, losing a contract with Aldi can be financially devastating. Unions and supplier advocacy groups in Europe have accused Aldi of using its power unfairly, imposing conditions that squeeze supplier margins to the bone. While it's legal, the ethics of these pressure tactics are hotly debated, especially when it affects fair trade and long-term economic sustainability for smaller businesses. Aldi doesn't just compete in the grocery world, it disrupts it. When the chain enters a new market, prices drop across the board. Established grocery stores scramble to keep up, often cutting margins, trimming staff, or even closing less profitable locations. It's happened in the UK, the US, and Australia. For consumers, it's a win, at least at first. Budget shoppers benefit from lower grocery bills, and competitors are forced to step up their game. But some economists worry about the long-term impact. As Aldi carves out more market share, diversity in the grocery ecosystem can shrink. With fewer competitors, local options dwindle and big box dominance takes over. The effect is especially noticeable in rural areas or small towns, where Aldi's arrival can either spark fierce price wars or wipe out smaller local grocers altogether. Despite all these controversies, Aldi has built a cult-like following. Fans aren't just loyal, they're obsessed. Social media is filled with posts from shoppers showing off their latest hauls, limited time deals, and Aldi finds, the seasonal and rotating specialty products that appear briefly and disappear fast. Entire Facebook communities, Reddit threads, and TikTok accounts are dedicated to Aldi tips, hacks, and reviews. From budget wines to charcuterie boards on a dime, shoppers love showing how much they can do with so little. What draws people in? It's the surprise factor. You never know what you'll find, and it's often something unexpectedly good. Combine that with the low prices and decent quality of their private label products, and you've got a shopping experience that feels like treasure hunting on a budget. So, what should you take away from all this? Shopping at Aldi is a trade-off. You're sacrificing variety and convenience for major savings. If you're cost-conscious, it's a dream. But that dream comes with strings attached. Be aware of Aldi's track record with product recalls, especially when it comes to fresh and frozen goods. If ethical sourcing is important to you, dig into the origins of their private label items. Some may not meet your standards. Don't take every green label or organic claim at face value. Verify certifications. And remember that low prices don't appear out of thin air. They often result from cost-cutting behind the scenes, whether that's fewer staff, cheaper suppliers, or pressure on small businesses. Aldi's model is undeniably effective. For millions of shoppers trying to stretch their budgets, it's a lifeline. But no retailer, especially one this efficient, can deliver those prices without making compromises somewhere. That's not unique to Aldi. Other major grocery chains wrestle with similar issues. But Aldi's razor-thin model puts every shortcut under the microscope when things go wrong. That makes its flaws more visible and more important to understand. So go ahead, shop at Aldi. Enjoy the savings, dig into the quirky finds, but do it with your eyes open. Know the trade-offs, know the story behind the low prices, and most importantly, be an informed shopper. Thanks for watching this deep dive from How to Know. If you got something valuable from this video, tap that like button and subscribe for more breakdowns of the stores and systems that shape our everyday lives. And drop a comment. What's your Aldi experience been like? Any unexpected surprises, good or bad? We'll see you next time.